habits on 4 countries, United States, China, Russia, and Japan. I think that the work that the GfK has done is very interesting. They have worked on new charts design, which will be very attractive and easy to read. I think we will have a lot of interesting points to perhaps consider after their presentations with maybe some Q&A questions. For us, for Mido, this joint project with Silmo, it's a nice challenge. I'm very happy that we have reached the 9th edition, and so we are proud about this project. And so I hope you will be very interested from the presentation, and maybe Amélie, you just want to say some hi to the people.
What else to add? Oh.
Okay, thanks, Giovanni. What else to add? I think it's the best place for GfK to present the monitor at Mido and Silmo. At Silmo, we concentrate on European country, Italy, Spain, England, French, and German. So thanks to GfK to show the presentation. I will let Simona, Daniela. You start. Ah, okay. So you start, and see you at Silmo for sure.
Is it working? Yes. Good morning. I am Daniele Novello from GfK. First of all, thanks to all of you for being here. Thanks to Silmo and Mido for the kind invitation. Today, me and Simona, we will present you the results of the last edition of our optical monitor, which is actually focused, as we were saying, on those big 4 very important countries, which are USA, Japan, China, and Russia. We have really plenty of information to give you. We are running so many analyses, and we are still running some analysis, and we will complete our full report in the next weeks, and then we will provide to UNFAD and we will provide to its members. But today we are here to give you the very key learning we extract from this edition, which is, as usual, aims at better understanding of the shopping behavior and the identification of the latest trends for optical markets. So many insights to share. I don't want to spend more time in introduction, just a real brief remark, methodological remark. We have completed near 5,000 interviews, so we are pretty confident of the statistical analysis we have run for you, and because of the consistency of the sample basis. So we can start. Okay, before going through the data we have collected for you, just a couple of background information that are really helpful in order to better understand what is the broader picture, the context where to project the market trends that we will present you in a while. And first of all, we want to start from the sentiment. We have been observing a steady increase in the sentiment of people around the world, globally, really flat to all countries in the last 3 years. But in the last quarters, we find that this optimism stops. This trend of optimism stops. We are still on high level of sentiment, but we observe a slight decrease in terms of sentiment from consumers. Why is it so important to stress this point? Because sentiment is, the higher the sentiment, the more sentiment is increasing. The more we can expect in the next months the consumptions to grow, because sentiment is a predictive indicator. And thus we have to be aware of the fact that probably the months we have, the next months will be slightly more challenging than the ones that we have behind our backs. Because the lower the sentiment, the more difficult it is to convince consumer to purchase glasses if they are not really needed, just for on a larger variety, just because they found a very good-looking pair of glasses. So we have to be more effective when talking to a consumer, and we need to get these two key ingredients to be more effective. First of all, we have to really understand the consumer trends, the needs behind consumer trends. And then we also have to better understand who are the consumers we are addressing, our targets. As far as this part of the story, Simona Greco, at the end of my presentation, will explain you the new cluster we have identified, the revamped cluster we have created for you. With regards to the consumer trends, it's up to me right now to give you some clue, actually. We have a specific multi-country syndicated study, as GfK. It's called Consumer Trends, Consumer Live, and it helps us in identify the key trends. For sure, here today we have not the times to go for the details of each of them, and so I will just give you some clues about a couple of them which are really, really important for us and for our market. The first is frictionless living. You can also read as need for simplification. We all live a complex life. Our lives are more and more complex. We are always in a hurry, and we really need for more simplification. Just to give you the flavor, globally, we find out that in the last couple of years, plus 5% of consumers today are strongly agree with the statement, I'm always looking for a way to simplify my life. I always look for product and service that help me simplify my life. And it's really a huge change, a huge trend. And we are pretty confident that if you are able to leverage on this trend, then you will take advantage out of it, for sure. Because today, simplification is more than welcome from consumers, but it's really actively researched. So this is the first crucial point we want to stress. The second trend is about the experience. Time is more and more important than money for consumers all around the world. Possession is less important than experience. We all want to live full lives, and we all want to fill our lives with pleasant experiences. And this is another really crucial trend. And it's not just important in terms of communication. It's just not that it's telling us keywords, it's giving us keywords for communications, but it's also actually shaping the way people use also optic products. Just to give you an example, in this edition, we find out that among the users of consumer lens, plus 15% of them are today using contact lenses for sports, more than and compared to the last year. So a really huge shape, as you can clearly understand. And this is, I think, a good example of the combination of both these two trends, the need for simplification and the desire for having pleasant experiences. But let's step forward now and let's have a look at the digital opportunities we find, we are reflecting on. And for this, we asked the help of another multi-country syndicated study from GfK, which is called Future Buy. And this is a research that is specifically designed to understand the so-called ROPO strategies. I don't know if you have ever heard of them. And ROPO stands for Research Online, Purchase Offline, or Research Offline, Purchase Online. So the cross-channel kind of strategy. And we are observing an increase in the quote of people who's actually doing this kind of strategies, of purchase strategies. But the most interesting thing we are finding is that kind of observing a convergence of physical and digital in terms of expectations from consumers. This is really crucial in our understanding of the period we are living. And I think it completely makes sense because we are the same person when we are surfing online and we are entering in a physical store. So if I surf online and I try to find lower prices, then my expectations for lower prices I will take these expectations of lower prices also when I enter a physical store. And we know the story is a challenging story, but this is the story and this is the challenge we have to face. But be aware of the fact that it's also true on the other way around. And so it's also true that more and more people today, when in their relations with digital touchpoint, they want more pleasant experience. So the physical sensation also when using digital touchpoint. If some years ago, all you have to do, if you were an online seller, was to have a site, actually, or at least this was the perspective from consumers, then the site was no longer sufficient, and you have to hopefully have a user-friendly site. But this is up to date, and even more in the future will not be sufficient at all, because we want more pleasant experience. Also when entering a digital relations with a brand, for instance. And I think, actually, if you think that vocal assistant are exactly all about this, or changing our relations with the digital touchpoint and making them more pleasant. From up to now, I'm going to show you the results and the insights coming from the optical monitor. We asked our consumers, why did you buy sunglasses online, if it was the case? Price. This was the driver, price. And we know price is really important when surfing online in order to find products. But then we also asked them, imagine you have to buy your pair of sunglasses online in the next month, tomorrow, I don't know, in the near future. And what are the drivers? Prices are still very relevant, for sure, but they are no longer the first mention. Other value appear right now. And they are, if you have a look, they are values that are more connected with the needs for simplification. But this is our, in a way, understanding and our prediction, reasonably, in the future. Also, the experience trends will play a major role in this kind of decision. So be aware of the fact that, for sure, as we all know, it's an opportunity, it's a trend, it depends on your perspective, but this is where we have to challenge. This is our, so to say, playground. To be more effective even in the online arena, and also to try to find a way to help the equity of our brand, being as a retailer or manufacturer, in the online arena, because this is where we can add some equity. And we will see in a while, it's really important for brands in optical to reinforce their equity. Let's go to market opportunity now. I will give you some overview for each of the countries we have considered. Then, as I was saying before, in the full report you will find all the details. But today, just going for the main trends for each of the country. And it's not easy to give you, so to say, to describe American consumers at a glance with one figure. We chose this item. Experiences are more important than possession for American US consumers. We listed the 10 fashion attitudes, and this is number 1 for American consumers. While you can see, for instance, for a Chinese consumer, is 7. So really big differences. This is really peculiar. And we can also read this trend as lifestyle is more important than product. Be aware when you are addressing American consumer that this is their DNA. Now we can kind of switch to more tactical leverage for marketing, and we can talk about the online purchasing. We can clearly see that in the optical glasses, we are observing a steady increase in terms of purchases online, while for sunglasses, after the big rush, let me say, of last year, we kind of stabilized we see kind of stabilization of the trend. But generally speaking, for the American geography, we can say that digital purchase online are relevant, because they are more relevant than other countries have considered in this study and also in the Silmo study. If we want to kind of have a look at the future, probably it's predictable that for the sunglasses we will have a further increase. On one side, because we know American consumers don't have that much barrier to online shoppings. On the other side, because America is the country where is larger the gap in price paid for the sunglasses and for the optical glasses. And so, being relatively less pricey, the sunglasses could be an option for an online purchase. Then, Optical Monitor, the monitor we have conducted for you, also give us the opportunity to go more in deep into the single and specific channel they use for purchasing. So we have for the online fashion department store website, official brand website, optical retail website. Then we have opticians being chains, physical chains, and opticians independents. And then as far as fashion, we have department store, fashion store, sunglasses specialists, and also another long list of other channels, street market, and other more, let me say, functional kind of the channel. We are able to give you for each country the detail of all of this channel. And we think that some really interesting figures are appearing. These are the figures for America, where we can see an increase for the opticians, both being them physical chains or being the optical retail website. So they are performing well. On the other side, we can comment this chart by saying that probably here manufacturer brands are missing some opportunities, once again, because they are not they are not increasing their relevance. The optical monitor also allows us to have a very clear understanding of what are the more relevant drivers in the decision process, both for optical and for sunglasses. And in the left part of the screen, you can see all the drivers we have considered, and you can see them ranked based on the relevance, on average, on the 4 countries considered and on the 2 markets considered. And so, even by starting having a look at that ranking, we have plenty of information, of useful information. And if you want to give just general comment on this ranking, quality of lenses and the price of the optical product are the more relevant, and they are the more relevant flat to all countries and all markets, I would say. But another very interesting part of the story, I think, is if we look at the bottom part of the ranking, what we find. We find the brand of the optical product and the made-in information. And both are lower than the advice of store staff. So I would say that the brands, the manufacturer brands, are not in that good position to be the storyteller. They are not that relevant in the decision process. And this is for sure a point that we have to manage. Also because we know that in other line of fashion, the story is completely different. And brands are really able to be the storyteller. So we have to urge, in a way, the manufacturer brand to try to manage this issue, also probably by partnership with the retailer, with the advice staff in the store, is really relevant, as you can see. But now we can go, I hope, yes, to the figure for America, specific figure for America. Once again, I have already comment on the fact that quality of lenses and the price of the optical product are really high in that ranking. As far as optical glasses is concerned, weight of the frame is still very relevant. As far as the sunglasses, we can find that the cool look is really relevant. Americans want to be cool. And also in terms of trends, we find that the design is more and more important, because this is what we found in the last edition. And if the design, if the look is so important, then a really important missing information at this point is what are the winning trends? What are the design trends that are doing better in the market in America? And we are able also to give you response to that kind of questions. And generally speaking, both for sunglasses and for optical glasses, full frames are increasing importance. Then when it comes specifically to the optical glasses, we found that the plastic is more appealing than it was in the last edition, and the squared, in terms of style, is more appealing than it was in the last edition. While as far as the optical glasses, I would like to stress the trends for the aviator. We know that traditionally American consumers like aviators, but still this kind of design, this style is increasing further relevance, further attractiveness for the American consumers. So this is the story for America. We can go for the other country, we can go for Russia. And here we decide to go for this kind of profile of the profiling of the Russian consumer by giving you this item. At each change of season, I buy some new things to wear. This is really crucial, I think, also because of the fact that we have to consider that, as we all know, economy in Russia is not performing that well because of the consequence of the sanctions, because of some not that positive exchange currencies dynamics. So there's kind of tension between their desire to have more and to buy new things. In terms of the channel, we also here we can find a slight increase for the online channel, both for optical glasses and also for sunglasses after the decrease of the last year. But generally speaking, if we compare this figure to the figure we have already seen for America and the figures we will see for China and Japan, here the online channel is little less relevant. And it's also the results of the fact that Russian consumers, more than the other, really want to touch, feel the products before buying them. But at any case, the level of online is near to the level we find in many European countries, and we have found in many European countries in the Silmo edition. If we go for the channel more in detail, here I think that the more relevant trends are the street markets that are increasing their relevance. And I think it is the consequences in a way of what I was saying you at the beginning of the section, the Russia section. They want to buy new things, even if, at least for some of them, it's not that easy in this particular economic moment to pay to afford extra expensive Italian, American, France, whatever kind of glasses. And so they want to fulfill the desire of buying new things, and they go for street markets sometimes. But still, if you have a look at the pink stripes, you can clearly see that is the stripes for fashion that is really relevant. It's still the #1 channel for the sunglasses in Russia. when it comes to purchase drivers for Russian, we don't find that big differences between the optical and the sunglasses. For both of them, it is really relevant the item product as an elegant look design. This is really an important driver. We don't exactly know what is their understanding of elegant design, and this research for sure is not able to give us the details because that's not the purpose of this research. But the key learning here is the fact that we can use it as a key word for communication, elegance, because it's really desired in a way from Russian consumers. What are the design trends? Then this is really relevant because they really want to be more cool. They really want to be more elegant. As far as optical glasses is concerned, more rounded and less plastic. As far as the sunglasses, cat eye. And this is the same story in a way that we have already seen for America. Americans traditionally love aviator, and still they are increasing relevance. And the same is true for the cat eye in Russia. It's slightly more attractive on average than for the other countries, but still further increasing in terms of attractiveness. Japan now. And what are the market opportunities in Japan? Here we need some background information because we probably all know that Japan has been in stagflation for many years. The economic expectation, the economic is not that dynamic. They suffer from weak growth. They have not that big expectation of improvement of their living standard. And this is the first part of the story. Then they are also less engaged in shopping, generally speaking. Also probably because of their age profile. They are more mature than other countries. For sure they are more mature than Russia. For sure they are more mature than Chinese that are younger, as we know. And probably this is also a part of the story. They are less, also for this age profile, they are less, let me say, receptive to the storytelling, very evocative storytelling of the brands. They are more pragmatic. This is the items really peculiar for them. Not the fact that they like products that can be tailored to their needs. It is ranked at #1, but it is really, really relevant also in other countries. The truth is that here, the distance is really large from the second items, fashion attitudes. This is really, really peculiar for them because the other are less relevant than this. This is really describing them really effective, in a really effective way. So what are the trends here? A big alert I have to give you before taking the picture of this of the screen, because here we are finding big slices, let me say, so big increase, big figure for the online channel, but you have to consider the fact that the cake here is smaller, because they are less engaged in shopping. They are less engaged in the world of glasses, of sunglasses in particular. So the quota of people who is buying, who have intention to buy for the future is smaller. So be aware for this chart and also for the other. We are not talking of a niche in Japan, but for sure the cake is smaller. So be aware. But still we can clearly catch the trends, and the trend is that the digital is increasing its relevance for sure. When it comes to the channels more in details, we find that for optical glasses, the retail website is gaining more and more importance, good performance for sure. And as far as sunglasses, the fashion department store are really increasing their relevance. Still, once again, the cake is smaller, so be aware of this. When it comes to the design trends, the winning trends for Japan, full frames, both for sunglasses and for optical glasses, more squared style, and more rimless kind of frame. For the sunglasses, more half frames. So it's also interesting to see how in the different countries we are considering the trends are really different from one another. We find some more flat to the countries kind of trends. We have seen that the look and the design is more relevant, basically for all the countries. But then when it comes to the specific style and to the specific winning trends, the picture are quite different in the different countries. So, okay. Last but not least, for sure, China. And here the word opportunities, for sure, is really, really important. We have to bold it. I have also to admit that we as a researcher are excited, more interested in understanding, in a way, more interested in understanding the picture for China, because we know they are really going through really, really rapid and huge and dramatic changes. Everything is changing. And they are really engaged in shopping. And they are the ones that more than the other have the highest frequency purchase ratio in all the countries considered. The highest intention to buy for the future. So it's really, for sure, a dynamic market. And I think that this is another crucial point. They care a lot about their image. They want to buy new things. We have an insight from our study, the consumer life. And the Chinese in the world are the consumer that more than all the other think that buying new thing and the thing they purchases tell the world they made it. So they are really into shopping. And if we remember the item for American where kind of lifestyle was at the top, here we have the product that is at the top. Product is the status symbol for them. And also brand. It's more relevant, as we will see in a while, than for the other countries. When it comes to the channel, here I think it's not surprising, but they are really digital. Digital purchases are increasing in optical glasses. Digital purchases are really increasing in sunglasses. I was saying it's not surprising us, I think. I don't know if you have heard of the app they had, that Chinese have on their smartphone, that it's WeChat, that it's basically our WhatsApp. And is their WhatsApp, but they have the opportunity to pay things via WeChat. They can pay the coffee to the bartender by sending the message. They are really digital. We are saying for a while that if you want to have a look at the future in terms of digital behavior, you probably have to look at the east part of the world, not at the west part of the world today. So this is not surprising, but still it's a real clear and very important trend. When it comes to the channel, official brand website are doing better than in the past, and also optical retail website for the sunglasses. But still, for the sunglasses, the brand website were performing well, the online site of brand manufacturers. So brand here is more present in a way. And we will see this also in this chart. What are the main drivers that, in a way, guide their decision process? And generally speaking, we have to comment this chart by saying that all the items are slightly shifted to the right because they are more engaged and they articulate their decision. They are really investing on the decision to purchase thing. If we want to just to pick up some of the most relevant drivers, I would for sure comment on the relevance of materials of the optical product, which is the only country of all the countries we considered in the study that have that driver at that level of importance. We know that in China, plastic is not that welcome. They really love metal more than plastic. And this is probably why they are really driven by the material of the frame. And also the other two points I want to stress. The first, I've already seen that say that the brand of the optical product is relevant. But the other point is that they want the latest product trends. We were saying before, they want to tell the world they made it. They want to buy new things. They have higher sentiment, higher expectation of improvement for their living standard, and all the things we have said in the first part, the other part of the presentation. So trends are really relevant. What are the trends in China? Then these are the winning design trends. Both for optical and sunglasses, more rimless, less full frames. For optical, a huge decrease of the appeal of squared we found in this edition, on the advantage of the other kind of style, rounded and double bridge. Both were already traditionally more appealing in China than in other countries, further increasing their relevance. And the same is true also for the material I was saying you before, metal. For the style of sunglasses, cat eye is once again already traditionally appealing for them and also increasing further attractiveness. Actually, this was my last chart. So we have kind of shared the main consumer trends, the trends of the markets, and the peculiarity of the countries. Then the story completed with the clusters, and I give the microphone to Simona.
I can't keep this one, but give me the... Thank you, Daniele. Thank you, everybody. I was trying to count how many times Daniele told us challenge or challenging. And I will start from this point because we face a big challenge in a market that we saw it's quite fragmented with plenty of players, with a purchase path that goes from online to offline and again online, with a very smart and demanding and explorative customer, and global trends that goes in the direction of experiences and tailor-made, made-for-me products. So it is a tough job we all have to do. And for us, the most important thing to do and to win this challenge is to really and deeply understand trends and customer habits, attitude, and needs. That's why we did cluster analysis, which is a statistical analysis based on socio-demographics, on lifestyles, and on the usage and attitude versus the sunglasses on our respondents. So we will do now a deep dive into the sunglasses market, and we will see 5 targets, but we will do we will go in depth to only 2, which are the most relevant and most potential for our markets, in order to give you some tips to catch them, to engage them, to surprise them. Let's see how our 5 clusters. We have the first 2 that are definitely in love and involved in this market. We call them the sunglasses lovers and the young fashion hunters. And we will go in depth into these 2, not only because they are a lot in terms of people and in terms of money they spend for the sunglasses. Altogether, they account for the 54% of the spending on sunglasses. But also because they are, we call a sort of trendsetter leaders, the first one in particular, leading age customers, and they can drive the trends and be the trendsetter that the other secondary targets will follow in the future. Just one word on the third target that we called active-minded. We will not go into the details, but it's true, it's a big target in terms of number of people, 1 out of 4, but we will not go in depth because it has a very functional relationship with the sunglasses. In some way, he's a follower on the first 2. We will now see the sunglasses lovers. It's a young adult target with a very high income. They are, look at the thermometer, absolutely passionate for sunglasses. They use it as a fundamental accessory in order to feel confident, cool, good looking. As I told minutes ago, we call them leading edge customers. That means that they are successful, trendy. They do not only follow trends, but sometimes they are the trendsetter. They have a personal style, they want to be cool, but again, remember what Daniele told us about a tailor-made and made-for-me products. We want to underline how important it is to intercept their needs because they are really demanding. Their explorativity is well reflected also in the touch points they use, in particular for keeping information about the sunglasses. Look, they go on the point of sales, they use digital, they use traditional media, they use word of mouth. And so keep it in mind when you do your media planning, when you think how to catch and how to communicate to them. In terms of purchase channel, the optician chain is still strong, but it's dramatically growing also the online channel. If we look at the purchase driver, we can easily find the reason why the online is for them so important. Because they look the latest trend. This is not a matter of price, but they are looking for the latest and the coolest sunglass in the world. And that's why online it's really important for them. In terms of sunglasses owned, the rose, the green one, show us which kind of style, frame or material is more penetrated in these clusters versus the other one. I won't comment this because I think we are, have to shorten a little bit the presentation. Just, I would like to point your attention to the tremendous intention to buy a new pair of sunglasses in the futures. 3 out of 4 told us that they will do in the next 12 months. Let's now have a look if this, okay, to the second fundamental target for the sunglasses market. We call them young fashion hunters. This is a slightly more feminine cluster. Very, very young. Look at the penetration of the 18-35 years old with mid-income because they are still students or at the beginning of their professional path. They are in love with sunglasses. They wear them whenever they can. Because they consider accessories in general and fashion clothes in general very important to feel comfortable, to feel cool and good looking. If we look at the attitudes toward life and fashion, again, they are really explorative. They look at challenges and changes in all their life, and not only in fashion. They are really active. and they want to feel cool again with their personal style. This explorativity is again reflected in the touch point they use for information on the sunglasses market. But please notice how in this target, and this doesn't surprise as the youngest one are called a digital native, the digital channel is really, really important, both for collect information, to look for the trends, and to buy the product. We can think about the purchase path of these young people. They maybe go on the internet to see what is trendy. Then they go into the point of sale, they try a couple or three glasses, they make selfies and they publish them on Facebook, or they send them to their relatives and parents and friends to get likes. And then again, they go online to buy, maybe. Because for this target, instead, online channel, it's really important in order to find a good occasion, the cheaper price, and an occasion to buy at the best. In terms of traditional channel, they still go there because they consider really important to be reassured, also the brand and the advice of the store staff. So don't panic if we are a retailer, because the only tip, the only challenge you have to face is to catch them, to give them an experience, but they still look for you because they are looking for reassurance and for some good advice on what's trendy in this moment. Thinking about the sunglasses zone, you see how aviator and cat-eye style are on this very young target, most penetrated on the average, and they look rimless in terms of frame. They are willing to buy a new pair of glasses in the next 12 months. We had 68% of people that told us, yes, I will buy. So I will close telling you thank you very much for being here. Me and Daniele, we are available if you have a question, and see you in Paris in September for the next edition. Thank you very much. No question?
One question.
Just, does it work? Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. The last series of slides, there are two figures. I didn't quite understand there, you know, like the trend is up as compared to when? I didn't get it. When did you make the survey before? Ah, okay. No, use that, yes.
Thank you very much. The trend that the row was comparing the results on this particular cluster versus the average.
The average of all the respondents.
Of all the respondents, yes.
Got it.
Yes,
Good.
yes,
Okay.
for sure. And when you saw some flags, we were... Yes, we wanted to show you some accentuations
As
in
compared
the
to when?
countries. Yes.
As compared to when?
Is compared again to the average of the countries.
Well, it's not broken down by country, but you know, the second series of slides.
Can we have again the presentation, please? Is it possible?
Or just the last
Okay.
couple of slides.
Okay, the last couple. Okay, torna indietro.
Sì, vai.
Yeah, that one. See. Difference versus total.
Okay. Okay.
All right, I see the flags now. Yeah, I see the flags.
Okay.
I see the flags. Okay. The other question, tailor-made look, personalization, etc. Maybe a word on customization, or it's not really, doesn't apply, right? Customization. You know, there are new trends in manufacturing, like 3D printing and all kinds of new. Okay, anything on that?
Okay, those are, so to say, is a questionnaire with closed questions, technically we call it. They are not open questions, they are not replying what, and they are not using their words. So we define this trend or this item like tailor-made and not customization, but it was the wording of the questionnaire.
Sorry, so does it mean that in those countries, like for example in Japan, people like to show their own personality, individual personality, rather than resemble their peers?
Yes, for sure.
That's it. Okay.
This is a part of the story.
Individualistic trend. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
And the other part of the story probably connected to the fact that they really want their needs to be satisfied in a less, so to say, marketing dimensions of the story, more pragmatic and functional. But there are both, let me say, the dimensions of being diverse and unique, and be.
So they will buy more Morel and more Vanni, more Morel, more Vanni than Ray-Ban.
This could be.
Did you hear the question? These customers will buy the sunglasses, say, of Morel, or the frames of Morel and Vanni, rather than those of Ray-Ban.
Well, that's our hope.
Yes, let me ask the question also in English so that maybe it's better. I don't know if you prefer Italian. What do you think? Italian or English? Whatever. Ok. Allora in italiano, visto che sono italiano, anche con un accento marcato. Volevo dire questo. La struttura di questo settore, obiettivamente, rispetto ad altri, ha delle dinamiche che addirittura 30 anni fa un mio cliente definì medievali. Effettivamente 20 anni dopo sono ancora medievali, nel senso che c'è una struttura in grande concentrazione. Parliamo di un brand, quello che avete appena citato, storico, che obiettivamente ha un heritage consolidato ed è andato a finire in un'azienda evidentemente leader, e non poteva che essere così. La mia domanda è questa: siccome è appunto un settore con dinamiche molto particolari, dove nuovi entranti nei decenni si sono scottati, hanno avuto grandi insuccessi e un po' alla volta si è consolidato in questo modo qua. C'è un grande rumore di fondo, secondo me, rispetto all'online. Io ho scritto un libro su retail digitale 10 anni fa. Se uno va a vedere i vostri numeri, che quindi sono raccolti, immagino, con metodologie rispettabili, un po' scientifiche, credo, però non conosco la dimensione del campione, quindi non lo so, però vedo comunque che l'online in certi paesi passa dal 7, altri arriva al 18%, un po' a memoria, mal contati su quello che ho visto. Allora la mia domanda è, siccome i nuovi entranti spesso fanno confusione, si buttano sull'online, sono stati creati anche strumenti per facilitare l'acquisto online, come delle prescription, distanza interpupillare, virtual mirror. Virtual mirror ormai è roba decota perché è in giro da 12 anni, quindi. E non è che il consumatore va, si vede la faccia sul virtual mirror, si compra gli occhiali, insomma, no? Però un nuovo entrante, magari un nuovo entrante nel settore, si fa questo film. Allora la mia domanda è, obiettivamente, sulla base delle conversazioni che avete avuto e anche delle rilevazioni, come vedete voi e anche i due operatori del settore nel loro ambiente e con il loro punto di vista, come vedono obiettivamente la questione online, posto che anche la mia impressione è che sull'online forse l'occhiale da sole ha più successo, ma alla fine, come vediamo dai numeri, il risultato qual è? Che si abbassano i prezzi e quindi la marginalità. Per cui come va l'online? Punto 1. Quindi questa è la prima domanda. Seconda domanda, se obiettivamente le regole del gioco sono diverse, cioè nell'online in realtà ci sono altri players, numero 1 Amazon, per non far nomi ma per farli, che quindi alla fine se entra obiettivamente a trattare questo mercato, a quel punto lì non c'è più trippa per nessuno in termini di operatori del settore. Quindi l'online ci sarà, in che misura e obiettivamente conviene investire nell'online per gli operatori del settore. Punto 2, se nell'online in realtà le chance di successo ce le hanno quelli che effettivamente sono dei professionisti dell'online, che non sono certo gli operatori del settore per quanto grandi siano. Grazie.
Partendo dal tema dell'online è destinato a crescere. Sorry, I switched to English. Is online predicted to increase? I would say yes, but it's also true that we have seen for some countries also interesting increase in terms of online purchases, but still I would say we have not observed a boom. There's not this booming of online. As far as the pressure over prices, for sure online go in that directions, but still we have seen that are still weak signal, we would call it in a research terminology. But there are signals that are telling us, and I show you this signal, that are telling us that pricing will be slightly less relevant. Price will be slightly less relevant for the online purchases. For sure, also because online pressure on prices will force even digital store to lower their prices. Then if it's the second part of the questions was really, really hard to reply, because who will be the winner of this challenge in the realm of online? For sure the specialists in the online have some strengths compared to the others, but still I think is also a matter of execution of your presence online. It's not that if you go online you are able to wow and to go really perform really well, but it's true that you have the opportunity if you execute in the proper way to find your at the beginning niche probably, but then to find your position in the market. I don't know if you have some to add.
See, no, I think I agree with what you're saying. From my perspective, but it's more personal than than a Mido point of view. I think the online now it's a fact. It's definitely there, and from what I've seen, a lot of the startups that are exhibiting here in Mido in terms of sunglasses, etc., have started their business on the online. So it's a clear window, and it's an opportunity, but you have to be very well prepared. So I do see as a great opportunity, I do see a development on the online, but for a professional business being well prepared. And it's really engaging and very interesting seeing that some of the companies that I've seen in the Lab Academy, for example, they have started their business online, and they're pushing, especially on sunglasses, their business on the online. But they have been preparing the platform in a very good and professional way. So it's an opportunity, and personally I see as something growing in the future. But people have to be prepared. It's not just a matter of putting the product on the web. It's very, very hard. Big investments have to be made. We have some big groups over here that started their business on the online, and that in the last 5 years have grown incredibly. So it's as a matter of fact, it's a very clear distribution channel, but you have to be prepared.
If I can add another comment on this, coming from, I was reflecting on other survey we did on these topics, and actually I recall that we have found more than one survey telling us that even for the really multi-channel consumers, which are using all kind of touch point and are really digital also in terms of collecting information, the physical store is still really relevant, and is not losing grounds in terms of, here we are in terms of attitude in this area I'm thinking of, but it's not losing ground versus the digital. But still they are people who are in the digital part of the journey, but the store is very important. So this is also another part of the equation for the success in a way. It always obviously depends on the kind of business you have, on the resources you can put in on and you can invest. But for sure, you have to be. We also all have to be careful of the fact that online is an opportunity, as we were saying, but it also needs some resources, because it's have to be reinforced also from very often by the more digital kind of stuff. And this is also because of this convergence we were talking about at the beginning of the presentation.
Thank you. If I may get the answer from Ms. Amélie Morel, and also if she understood. Did you get the answer, my question, or no?
I don't speak Italian, but...
About in French, or even French or English, whatever.
It's working? Yeah. I think it's a great opportunity for company, but we're speaking about sunglasses only. I think the optical is not the matter. I'm agree with Giovanni. I think you have to be well prepared, because selling online, it's nice, but you have to be prepared in terms of logistics, in terms of services. So everything has to be prepared in advance.
Okay, my last question. Now, the two of you, what is your presence online? And how much do you spend online versus what you spend with traditional channels? Because we are talking of online in theory, but practically, what is your current distribution policy in terms of online versus traditional distribution?
You want, or?
Well, now we go a bit too personal, but anyhow, if I'm considering my business, we are very traditional, and in my business we work with independent traditional stores. Of course, I do see, as I said before, an opportunity in the online and digital, but you have to develop, I think, products and staff and logistics, which is really destined to the online. I think the leader of the market is, in these days, working as digital as possible. So we have a certain direction, and we will consider that for the future. But at the moment, in my business, we are totally conservative and traditional, because it's what we are and what we like.
What about you? Because the leader is a different cluster of competitors. Yes. So are you selling online, or in somehow, what is your presence online?
I'm not here to speak about us, but if you're asking me, right now we concentrate on our effort about optician in terms of services. So we prefer to concentrate on our partner.
Thank you very much for your openness.
Okay, I think we have to leave to the next workshop. So thank you very much for coming, and see you in Paris.